Hello nerds, thank you for joining me right here on Generally Nerdy. This is the week in Nerdom, making a triumphant return. I know things are super rushed. I had a movie review last night. I'm working on that at the same time as I'm working on this, so things happen and it is what it is. But we have a new intro to hit. And now we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. This is our first proper episode back. Next week, we might have 2 episodes. We might have just the one. It really depends on how I can work out scheduling. That's kind of the state of things. But now we get to do all of the new bits because I have all the flashy new things for the show. So let's jump into music news. And first thing we have for music is an update on the Dragonforce situation. If you remember, they lost Leclerc. He was their bass player for a long time. I can't remember who he's playing with now, but he's playing with somebody else that apparently is paying him more money or something along those lines. So they had Stevie T, who is a YouTube personality. He was going to be the one that filled in on bass duties, but Stevie T apparently has really bad anxiety issues, and so that was not an option. So they've been kind of bass playerless, which kind of stinks because they're trying to go out on tour, right? Because they just put out a new record. Well, they just got a bass player in the form of Alicia Vigil. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. Alicia, perhaps. Vigil from Vigil of War, who will be covering bass duties for them. Never heard of Vigil of War. Hopefully she can keep up. I would imagine so. She went through a pretty hard vetting process. Next, we only have 2 pieces of direct music news. There is a couple of other things I want to talk about in music, but they're reaction videos, so hold your horses for that. We're going to be doing a couple of reaction videos, few reaction videos over the course of the weekend, so those will be posted in the following days. But next is Mac Miller. There is going to be a reaction video for this, but his new record, that's right, Mac Miller, the guy who passed away, sadly, about 1.5 years ago, overdosed. He is putting out a posthumous record, and it's going to be called Circles, or it is called Circles, I guess. It's supposed to be a companion to the last record he put out before he died, called Swimming. So Swimming in Circles, it's kind of a philosophical thing. Kind of clever, I can get behind it. The record was completed by his producer, Jon Brion, which I'm unfamiliar specifically with that producer, though I believe he's done a few of Mac's other records, and I really dig the production level on Mac's stuff. So I anticipate this new record will be along those same lines. Now we're jumping into TV streaming, and for TV, we have a couple of things to talk about. First of which being The Watchmen. It looks like, though HBO is saying this is not the case, there is a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that we will not be getting a season 2 for The Watchmen. Showrunner and main producer Damon Lindelof has left the project, is gone, is no longer doing Watchmen, is doing something else, and again, all signs point to they're not going to find anybody to replace it, because the statements that they've made in the past have been, well, it's Lindelof's project, so if Lindelof wants to keep doing it, then we'll keep doing it. But if he wants to move on to something else, then we're going to move on to something else. Has largely been the story from HBO upper-ups since the project has been announced. So that is kind of weird. But again, HBO says that this is not the case. They are going to try and continue the series. I just don't see that being the actual case. Next, we are talking about the Green Lantern. Yes, we did get a little bit of a tease on the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that little bit of tease has led directly into HBO Max saying we will see Sinestro in the series. So that is going to be the basis for that. There are some rumors surrounding this, and we'll get to those in the rumor mill. But next, we are talking about the other DC update that we got within the last week or so, and that is Aquaman sequel, That's right, Aquaman sequel, but we're in TV streaming because it's going to be an animated series. It is going to be produced by James Wan, though directed by has not been stated. Also, who is going to provide the voice cast for the animated series has not been announced, so we don't know if Momoa is going to be returning as the voice of Aquaman or if he'll only be back for the Aquaman 2 movie. It's not been announced, but we do know Wan is going to produce. We also know it is only going to be 3 episodes, and each episode is going to be a standalone story. So it's not going to be one big arc. It's just going to be hour-long episodes that fill out the world. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I don't know why you would anthologize the story. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But it is what it is. That's the way they're going with it. And then the last piece we have in TV is kind of a sad one, potentially. Though it really depends on how you look at it. So if you're a fan of Mindhunter on Netflix, then you got a little bit of bad news over the last couple of days because the main cast, and therefore all the cast, has been let go of their contracts because David Fincher has been kind of taking on a lot of projects, and Mindhunter isn't exactly his most important project at the moment, it would seem, because he's working on his first feature-length film for Netflix, which I'm intrigued because it's Fincher. He's also working on season 2 for Love, Death, and Robots, which was amazing. If you watched the first season, then you know. If you haven't watched the first season, what are you doing with your life? Go watch that. So that is where Fincher's at, and they've just kind of said, because he's doing these other projects for us, we didn't feel like it was good to keep the cast on when we don't know when season 3 is happening, if season 3 is going to happen. So it is on indefinite hiatus, which kind of sucks because Mindhunter was a pretty good series. But that is all we have for television news. Now let's move quickly into movie news. I say quickly because we have one piece of movie news, and that is Corey Taylor. Corey Taylor, lead singer for Slipknot and Stone Sour, is finally venturing into the film world properly. He is going to be producing and directing alongside with Tom Savini, who, if you don't know, is a longtime horror movie special effects artist and makeup artist. He will be directing and producing, and he actually is part of the writing staff, if not the only writer, for the script of his very first horror movie, which is kind of intriguing. I don't know if it's going to be great because I've seen some of the other stuff that Corey's done, and it's kind of hit and miss. More hits than misses, but still, there's a couple of misses in there. So it could be amazing, or it could be a giant dumpster fire. Don't know for certain, but that is all we have for movies. And in gaming, we also only have one piece, and that is a new Battle Royale game that was actually, I was told about this by a coworker. It's called Cuisine Royale, and it's food-based in a very minor way. Like, all of the your team leader is called the chef, and all of your health items are actually like prepared food items, and your drop ships are actually refrigerators. So it's kind of that, but it's a very strange game. I have yet to play it. It is free to play on all platforms. It came out in December, kind of super under the radar, even more under the radar than Apex Legends, because Apex Legends kind of blew up immediately. I feel like this one isn't really ever going to blow up, though I will likely do a live stream of this, if not this weekend, then probably next weekend, or likely 3 weeks out, because I have plans for next weekend's stream. So potentially 3 weeks out, we're going to be starting to stream this on a quasi-regular basis, because it looks like so much fun. So yeah, that is what we have for gaming, and we have no comic books. So I made this animation for comic books that took me so long to do, and I don't even have any comic book news to talk about. But now we're going to get into the rumor mill, and you've already seen the rumor mill animation. So, rumor mill news, we've got Doctor Strange 2. The news around Doctor Strange 2 that we kind of sort of covered on our dim period is that the director, Scott Derrickson, I apologize, has left the project officially. And the rumor is that part of the reason, if not the main reason that he left, is because he bumped heads with Feige. Feige's trying to push, it would seem anyway, Feige is trying to push a narrative, social narrative instead of an art narrative. So Feige wants, and really my different sources are very different politically. So some of the sources are saying that it's a diversity push, and some of the sources are saying he just wanted a different villain for his movie, and Feige said, no, we're doing Scarlet Witch as the villain, which is a very interesting choice, considering, you know, Multiverse of Madness and then House of M in the comic books, and like, that actually sounds like it could be amazing. I don't understand how people are assuming this is a diversity push when Scarlet Witch is kind of an epic story piece from the comic books. Why would that? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway. So that's that rumor. Next, we have a Hawkeye rumor that Disney is doing what they can to deny, though I wouldn't say there's an adamant denial about it. Hawkeye, the series, seems to be indefinitely shelved as well. With Jeremy Renner's personal life kind of in turmoil, Disney seems to be saying, all right, dude, take care of you. If you get it taken care of in a satisfactory manner, we will then do the Hawkeye series. Though Disney's official statement is that it is not on indefinite hiatus, it's just being delayed slightly. We'll see if it happens or when it happens. Next rumor is one that's going to send the Star Wars fan base into a fit. Jar Jar Binks is rumored to be in the Obi-Wan series. An old, elderly statesman-style Jar Jar Binks with a beard, apparently. Seems very strange. I don't know how believable this is, but it is a rumor, and we're talking about it now. That's all I got on that one, though. Next is a super interesting one. We have NBC Universal, their Peacock streaming service, is reportedly going to be rebooting Quantum Leap. Again, this is a rumor, so casting and all of that is very much up in the air, if it's even happening at all. But really fun to think about, because that's one of the earliest science fiction series that I can remember that was on broadcast television that was super, super popular, and being a big sci-fi nerd, I'm totally on board for this. Next is video game. We didn't have any video game news, but we definitely have video game rumors. Video game rumor about Horizon Zero Dawn. It seems that they are working on a port for the PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is well and good. Just give it to me on the Xbox, guys. Come on. And our final rumor for the episode, and kind of closing the episode off, is Star Wars. Knights of the Old Republic is going to be getting a revisit. Not a video game revisit, but a movie and potentially a series revisit. So Disney Plus is rumored to be working on a series based on the Knights of the Old Republic game, as well as Disney Lucasfilm is working on a movie based in that time as well. So this is technically post the last rumored movie series that they're working on as far as the Star Wars timeline goes. So but then also pre the Skywalker saga, so we might get instead of a youngish Yoda, we'll get a middle-aged Yoda, and maybe we'll see the other character from Yoda's race in this movie series or Disney Plus series. Who knows? A lot of stuff is super fun to talk about and think about, but we won't know until it happens or until Disney officially makes the announcements. But that is the end of the rumors, guys. Which also brings us to the end of the episode. So what did I miss? What should we talk about in the next one? Let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net, or Patreon. Patreon.com/generallynerdy is the place that you can go to support the channel more directly, get some extra content. There is content up there that is not up on the YouTube or the website, so definitely go check that out. Like, subscribe, share, all of the things. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.